guys, and welcome to another episode of Agrarian Skies. Today, oh man, I've been working so hard. I'm really excited for this episode. And apparently, oops, Plotters is talking about her, oh geez, my smeltery is filled with blood. Well, we'll clean that out in a bit. But, I've been working really hard for today, and I don't know if you've guessed it already, but, our power is starting to not quite cut it in terms of our magmatic crucibles. We upgraded them, but it's not quite enough. So I have supplies here to make something quite expensive. That is a reactor. So I'm going to kind of run this a little tiny bit as a tutorial, a little bit as a just as a regular episode, but so to make our reactor, we're going to be doing a 9x9 reactor, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which is really, if you need a bigger one, man, I don't know what you're doing, because I was in creative and I tested this out a little bit, and it was way faster than anything, or it's way faster than anything I'm ever going to need. So when building these, you need to first do, well, you don't need to first do it, but it needs to be lined on the outside in the corners with reactor casings, like I have here. And then we're going to fill those in. Oops, there we go. And bunk, bunk, and bunk, 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 bunk. You can see our nodes through the top there. Now we're going to put in our control rods, or our control rods. We're gonna have 13 rods in this. Now the control rods go on the top. We want each of our rods is gonna have coolant and around it. And oops, what? Why you disappear? Really? That just completely disappeared on me. Oh, there it is. Okay. And I just realized I'm one short on a reactor casing, so let's make one of those real quick so I could at least show you how I make them. So reactor case, oh, I have a ton in here. Cool. So we have 13 of these that we're gonna then put on the bottom. Now you could either use on the main side, so the top, bottom, all the sides, the 4 sides, can be either reactor casings or reactor glass. And we want this to look nice, so we're gonna put all reactor glass in too. And then we need oh, actually we need to fill in the bottom yet, because the bottom needs to be filled too. We don't want all that radiation going into the into our cobblestone structure here. That wouldn't be very enjoyable. Okay, and on this side we're going to put the bottom row is just going to be regular. Now we're going to do this a bit step by step here, and gonna build up our fuel rods slowly and completely line everything with gelid cryotheum, which I'm gonna need a bucket for, or a couple buckets. Let's get 16 and just do this. That way we can have it all. Oh, can't do that. Bam, there. We could just have this all in our inventory. Boom. And this gelid cryotheum is super cold. As you can see, it's making snow on me, which is going to probably be a little bit of a pain in a bit. But it's super cold, and we'll keep our reactor cool and make it super fast. So as we do this, basically the gelid cryotheum is used to cool down our cells. Okay, just making sure that we filled in all of our spaces here. Now the one thing I thought that maybe the cryotheum, let's just do this. We don't need a full inventory of it. But I was looking into it, and it turns out, or I was going to see if I can make it just flow down around so we wouldn't have to fill in every single space. But it turns out that gelid cryotheum, kind of like the resin, or not like resin ender, like energized glowstone, will simply move the source block up, or in this case down. So we can't do that, and we got to do it in every single spot, which is going to take a little while. Now we're hoping that eventually, I don't know if we're going to need it with all the power that this is already going to create, but I'm going to include, possibly in the future, a turbine in with this reactor, a steam turbine. So instead of the reactor producing energy on its own, it'll make steam using water, and unfortunately that means we're going to have to remove all the gelid cryotheum, but it means that we're going to have lots of steam produced and make a whole tower out of, or make a cool turbine out of that. I'm just going to line the sides a little bit here because there's no reason to spend all that time just lining the sides up here. So just top that like that. Boom, boom. Oops. Ah, dang. Okay. Well, let's break this first. Unfortunately, I was hoping that a crescent hammer would work. Yeah, nope. So I got to use a thumb. I use Thumbcraft, the Thumbcraft wand for it. And also, unfortunately, if it falls in the cryotheum, just like lava, it'll go away. And this reactor glass is very expensive. It took a long time to make, and I really don't want to lose it. So get back our creative wand out and keep going here. Bunk, 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 bunk. We'll leave this little kind of doorway here. Actually, let me fill in a little bit of this. We just go in the top here, and I'll move this down one. There we go. Now we have a little space that we can get in. And get all these cryotheum buckets in here. Am I missing? There it is. Lost a bucket. This cryotheum is expensive. I was hoping it wasn't filled. So now we're going to do the next row, and so on, and so on, and so on. So I'm going to, I think, finish up this and be back with you after I finish up the entire reactor inside. So I'll be right back. So here we are with 3, 4, I don't think, no, not quite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we only need 6. Here we are about to do our last little bit here. Is that going to pour out? No, okay, good. And try to get in here. This will probably pour out now. No? Okay, well, you can see the tippy tops of our fuel rods up there. And I'm about to put in the last little bit of cryotheum here. There we go. So that's, let's see, -5 buckets, 120 something buckets of cryotheum. Stupid amount. But, okay. So I also put in our reactor controller here, our input for our fuel, our export for our waste, and we're going to need that waste eventually to make our turbine. And I have 2 reactor power taps because I don't know how much energy this is going to produce. And now it is time to put in our resonant energy cells, which I have 64 of. And we're going to have it visible from the outside here, where how much power we have left. Boink. And 1. So we have 64 of them. I made a couple extras, I think, too, because I thought I might have lost some along the way, but that's okay. Nothing like having more batteries. And I thought that might work. But yeah, so we're gonna line these all up, and I'm gonna make it so the power that we produce will go into the last spot down here first. And then, so it'll fill up from bottom to top, essentially. Like you would expect to see, I guess. And it'll fill up bottom to top and then left to right. So it'll go through each, I think that'll work. Oops, dropped my phone. But yeah, so I think we'll just put in the last of our, I skipped a row. Oops. Okay, but I'm going to put the rest of these in and then run some cables. Run some conduits into the energy cells, so that way we have our power going through them. And then we're going to hook up our reactor and see how much output we get. When I did a little testing creative, it was over 10,000, so that's why I needed to put in 2 power taps there, up at the top right. You see them there. So I had to put 2 power taps in because they can only export, or redstone conduit can only carry 10,000 RF per tick. So if you're wondering, if you have a big reactor and you're wondering why you're not getting the output that it says it's making, it's probably because you don't have 2 power taps. So we have a nice 64 resonant energy cell tower, essentially, of, yeah. So I'm going to, for right now, make it simple and just run the cable through so we can test out our reactor a little bit. So I'm just going to put both cables on here. Actually, I'm going to run it there. This way we'll have dual cables running all the time because we can only process yeah, that's right. We can only do 10,000 RF per tick. So these will go in the sides like so, and make their way to the bottom. I'm going to have to go through and make them all so that they can handle 10,000 RF per tick so that it moves a bit faster. So after I get these done here, I'm going to take another little short off-camera break and change them all to 10,000 RF per tick. So I'll be right back now. Wow, well, I'm back, and I never thought I would ever have to do so much clicking in my life, setting all of the configurations and making them all 10,000 power. But we're finally there. We're finally ready to put in our final ingredient, which is the yellorium. And then we're just going to pack it full and see what we get out of it. And then, so auto eject waste. We'll activate the reactor once we put it all in there. Now this has a 10 million buffer, and each of these holds 50 million. So we'll see how long it takes to fill it up. But let's see. Okay, 100% full. 100% full, and we're going to turn on the reactor. It takes a second to warm up. And power's starting to output. The coolant's doing a good job. How much are these not working? Is there power going? Yeah, there's power going in, but there's too much. Oh man, we're making too much power. Okay. Okay, deactivate the reactor. Okay, how can I change this? We're making 30,000, little like 35,000, so I need to make 2 more power taps. Wow. This is pretty insane. It was 35, I think it was about 35,000 power tap. Make 2 more of these. Might as well make 3. And we got our redstone conduits. Now I don't know if it'll, do we have to separate the conduits down here? Is that what it is? Maybe I have to set them up alternating. Let me try that. See if that makes a difference. Oh man, okay. Throw a block down. And we want this one. And this one. And I guess this one. And we'll run some more conduit here. Okay. Oh man, this is already going through. Okay, so let's try this again. Activate the reactor. Okay, let's see, 30,000. Close to 35,000. Now we're running 5 of those now, so is the buffer filling up? The buffer is not filling up. Good. Well, oh yeah, it is. Slowly. Okay, let's go outside and see what it looks like. Now this guy should be filling up right now. It should fill up pretty much left to right. Maybe it's on a diagonal. Get a diagonal line going there. But yeah, so we have a giant reactor that has so much power right now that we can't even control it quite. Which isn't the greatest, but you know, it's better to have more power than to not have enough, right? It's going through 0.5 millibuckets per tick of fuel. So as you can see, the waste number is slowly going up, and 1 ingot is 1,000 millibuckets. So what this actually produces is it takes the yellorium and turns it into cyanite. Why is this outputting here? I don't know why this is outputting to here, but we get cyanide out of it essentially. So the nice thing is because I have this in here, it'll continue to produce and just export the cyanide there, I guess. I don't know why it's not putting the cyanide out here. Outlet mode. Well, I guess for right now that's okay. We'll try to figure out if we can fix that later. Core heat is transferred to the casing. Now I wonder, is this okay in terms of heat? Because it doesn't seem to be breaking, but it's producing a lot of power. See, as you can see, these are already filling up. This one's done, this one's full. Yeah. This is pretty crazy. Okay, well, I'm almost speechless with how much power this is creating. I thought it was going to produce maybe a couple thousand, 2,000 or 3,000 RF per tick, but we're getting 34.8, almost 35,000 RF per tick coming out of here. It's insane. I'm going to have to have this on, or I'm going to have to connect this with a RedNet and see if we can control it a little bit, make this a bit more efficient, but this is insane. Oh geez. Okay, well, I guess that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like or subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.